Joe in Chevy Chase, Maryland, listening on Progressive Voices. Hey, Joe, what's up?
Hey, thank you. I always enjoy listening to you because you always confirm my knowledge about how power-hungry the left is.
Confirmation bias.
Yeah, it's great. Taxing and regulating sugar and fast food. Another classic example of liberal economists who don't understand economics.
So let me ask you a simple question then. What is your answer to an industry or a business whose business model is to cause harm and profit from that and let somebody else pay for the remediation of that harm? What is what's the appropriate way to respond to that?
Internalize, have the people that are putting the cost. Like you're saying that if people eat a lot of sugar, they get fat, and that puts cost on society.
Not just sugar, fast food also, yeah.
Fast food, right. So put the cost on the people that are eating the sugar and the fast food.
So you want to run around and tax people based on their weight?
Why not? If I don't. But
the way you tax them based on what the food that they're eating is by taxing the food.
Would you tax rap music?
If you could demonstrate that it was producing a social ill, yeah.
Right. Okay. So anything that any academic study can prove that causes what somebody thinks is a social ill, you think the government has the right.
Well, let me rephrase that. No, Joe, I spoke too soon. Let me rephrase that. Anything that you can demonstrate is producing a social cost, not necessarily an ill. There may be things that we think are immoral or something, but a social cost.
So if rap music was shown to increase certain types of crime, which is a social cost,
right,
you would then support taxing rap music or violent movies or
to help pay for the law enforcement. Yes. Yeah. If you could demonstrate that. Now, to the best of my knowledge, that has not been demonstrated.
So, right. But so if they could, I mean, we predicted this 20 years ago. There were some crazy professors at Yale. I was back in the Ivy League when I was an economist at the time, too. They were talking about how they need to tax the fat content of food and tax sugar content and everything else.
Oh, yeah. It's been around for a long time.
Yeah. The underlying assumption is the government should be able to control absolutely every aspect of your life, and all that matters is if you can somehow show something you do.
No, Joe, your premise is wrong. When you predicate a statement with a false predicate, everything that follows becomes irrelevant. You said the government should be able to control every aspect of your life. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that when an industry or a company has a business model that causes a cost to society, that society has not just the right, but the obligation to recover that cost from its source.
Every study I've seen shows that if people don't get enough sleep at night, they are less healthy, and that puts a cost on society. Should the government be able to tax people if they don't get enough sleep at night?
If there was an industry or a business,
why is it an industry?
That's business model.
Why are you?
Let me finish my sentence. If there was an industry or a business whose business model was to do something that caused people not to get a good night's sleep, and you could demonstrate that there was a cost associated with that, yeah, I would say, what's the cost associated with that, and how do you tax that? Sure.
Why do you focus on a business? If I decide to watch TV so maybe. If I decide to watch all the late night TVs and lose sleep, so either you should tax me because I'm not sleeping.
No, you're taxing yourself.
Or you should tax.
No, you're taxing yourself. You're being less productive. If you're less productive as a consequence of your TV watching behavior, that's your problem.
Then that's not an externality. You don't understand what an externality is. If all the cost is on me, there's no externality. And you're saying...
That's my point. Individuals don't produce externalities. Businesses do.
They do too.
Well, it's not an externality because you are producing your own cost. You're not externalizing it. You are paying for it yourself. If you're less productive, your income's going to go down. If you're not sleeping enough, you're going to die earlier.
No, if I don't sleep, I become sick, and if the
right, and you are suffering the direct results of it. In other words, you are experiencing the tax.
If I decide to eat fast food, then I am suffering the direct effect of.
That's correct. You are paying your own tax.
So
but,
you don't need to. So
but if the fast food is being promoted to you by an industry that knows that it is going to cause you and many, many other people to become less productive and to cost society something, shouldn't that industry pay some of that cost? See, you're saying that the individual is always responsible. I don't believe that. If the individual was always responsible, advertising would not exist.
So you're saying that if we could show that some late night TV, if they encourage people to stay up late, and they know people staying up late is bad for them.
Well, not necessarily. Some people sleep in late in the morning.
Oh no, well not fatty food doesn't affect everybody. I know people that eat fat food all the time. They have great cholesterol level. They live to be 100 years old. It's fine. I mean, it's just this idea that if some academics can prove that there's some arguable cost associated with some activity.
They looked at 31,000 people, and they found that if 21% of your calories came from sugar, you had twice the risk of heart disease. The sugar industry is externalizing. They're doubling the death from heart disease. They're externalizing the death of people, and they're not paying for that. Why is that okay with you?
Hollywood is then externalizing their violence, crime, and everything like that.
If you can prove that, Joe, I mean, I know the theory. I get the theory, but I've not seen the proof of it. There are countries where violent movies are around, in profound levels, and they don't have levels of violence. Violence seems to be more associated with inequality than it does with violent movies. And again, I refer you to Wilkins and Pickett's research over at equalitytrust.org.uk. And I think you're trying to change the subject. Joe, thanks for the call.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 866-987-THOM.
It's very simple. What's the business model? If the business model is we keep the profits and society gets screwed, the society gets screwed part should come out of the profits.